Hey there, I'm Juan Francisco, and I'm a psychic medium. I'm here with you to explore your intuition, the supernatural, and self-empowerment. This is Third Eyesight. Hello, party people. Welcome to a new week of Third Eyesight. Today, I would love to chat with you about what doing readings with spirit, what that's taught me about remaining open. And being open to possibilities is something that has helped me in my readings. And it's also helped me in my everyday life. And it's also a quality, a skill, whatever you want to call it, that working with mentors has really taught me, especially one mentor that I'm thinking of. And I want to start with mediumship readings. I want to start with sharing what spirit has taught me about not thinking in limitations and just how that has influenced how I live life as well. And I'm not pretending that I live a perfect life or that I live a life where I have it all figured out. But I think it's important, especially, in the time we're living in, for a lot of us, it's a weird time we're living in. And I think there's a lot of divisiveness, a lot of polarization and hating people, disliking people, wanting people to not exist, which is so drastic and dangerous. I think that's dangerous thinking. There's not a lot of space to live lives being open, remaining open, not thinking in limitations, not thinking in that there are just two drastic choices to make, thinking beyond that. So in mediumship readings, being open, being a practitioner, a psychic medium who tries to remain open to possibilities during readings has helped me have better readings, and it helps spirit to do its job. And the way I will describe it, or the example I'll share, is when I'm doing a reading, I've learned over the past few years how to put less brain power into it, less thinking into it, trying to think about what I'm receiving or think about what I want spirit to give me. I started focusing more on what am I feeling? What am I feeling in my body? And it's hard to describe the difference because obviously, scientifically, everything that we feel in our bodies, everything that we feel emotionally can be linked back to our brain and what our brains are mechanically doing within our bodies, right? But there's just a different feeling between thinking hard and not thinking hard. And when I'm not thinking too hard and I'm instead focusing on what I'm sensing or feeling, I feel that more in my body than I do as thoughts in my head, if that makes sense. So let's say I'm doing a reading and spirit is showing me, I always use this example, a blue blanket. Well, I start to think about, I think about a baby boy being born, or I think about a hospital blanket because some are the color blue. But if I keep focusing on what I'm thinking about what it is, like if I tell the client, is it a baby boy? Is it a hospital blanket? And they say no to either one. But I keep thinking, but that's what I know. I know the symbol to mean that for me. If I keep focusing on it and doting on it and thinking hard about it, I may be sort of contaminating the message that's meant to come through. Maybe the blue blanket is really a blue quilt that grandma stitched for this person I'm doing the reading for. But I'm thinking so hard about babies and hospitals that I'm not allowing that message to come through, that symbol to come through. If I were to just pause and ask myself, Juan, can you stop thinking so hard about babies and hospitals and actually pause and let yourself feel what's coming through instead of trying to think hard about trying to validate the symbols that are in my head, trying to match it with the symbols I know this to be related to, this blue blanket. Instead of trying to match it, try to make it land or make it match what I expect it to be. Let me not have the expectations and just feel what it is. Then maybe I will sense, instead of, maybe it'll start with something like, okay, now I'm starting to see someone stitch something. Then the person might say, oh, well, my grandma did stitch something blue for me and it was a blue quilt. Like, oh, maybe that's what I was trying to get. Maybe that's the symbol spirit was trying to show me. They were trying to lead me there. As Kristen, the person who, the psychic medium who facilitates our weekly mediumship circle that I'm a part of, she always describes spirit as sometimes working circuitously. And it's true. It's like a game of charades. And if I remain open, actually, this is a great example of it. In a game of charades, anything is possible. But if something doesn't land, something doesn't work in charades, I'm not getting something right, I need to maybe think differently, right? But if it's not the movie Blade Runner, then maybe I need to open my mind more and step away from the concept of the movie Blade Runner to see what other movies this person is trying to show me in this game of charades. Same thing with spirit. It's like a game of charades. I'm trying to decipher with the client what spirit is telling me, and I need to remain open to the possibilities of what it could mean. Spirit does not work in limitations. Spirit does not work with limiting beliefs. Spirit is endless possibilities. Imagine that spirit is energy that is not in a human body. It is energy that is out and about. Can't be created nor destroyed. Possibilities are endless for spirit. And so what we're trying to do in a reading is we're trying to take something with endless possibilities, with endless limitations, and communicate it within the limitations of our bodies. I am using English words to communicate what spirit is telling me. Language sometimes cannot always grasp everything spirit tries to tell us. That's what I personally believe. But we do our best, and language is the best that we have. So spirit is trying to work with us. Spirit, this limitless energy, is trying to work with us, limited human beings, in terms of what we can do with our bodies and our vocal cords. And it's trying to communicate through us this channel that sometimes is limited. So then how do we then take on this attitude? How do we have this attitude of limitless possibilities? So within the constraints of our human bodies and our human psyches, we are trying to think without limitation. It's hard, but it's possible. And this is where living life heart-centered, living life heart-forward has made me realize that not only is remaining open in life important for doing readings, or for those who receive readings, receiving readings, it's important to remain open as you're listening to a psychic medium channel messages from the other side. Very important to be open, because if you go in with a list of I want them to mention this, you may be so focused on grandma needs to mention her golden watch that a spirit will bring up something else, and it's still grandma. It is grandma, but you're so focused on the golden watch that you don't think about this other symbol that's coming through. That could be just as validating. You're so fixated. So remaining open as a client is important too. And so spirit has really taught me that whether I am the psychic medium giving a reading or I'm the person receiving a reading, it's important to remain open, because spirit is limitless. So therefore we need to raise our vibration to this mentality of limitlessness. Spirit does not work in limitations. And we don't have to either. And it's hard because we live in a world and a culture where there are many limitations. There are limitations to what our bodies can do. There are limitations to what, to maybe sometimes the way we think because we grew up a certain way. But if we base our self-worth and our happiness in our limitations, we may not ever be happy. And there's a difference between respecting our limitations for what they are and accepting them and respecting them and honoring them versus living according to them. There's a difference. So in life, if we were to apply what I just said to how do we apply this to everyday living, to life? Remaining open with what life has to offer you. Remaining open to what life throws at you. And I think this is very relevant, especially when it comes to dating and romance. The first thing I can think of is me personally, when I go on dates with people and I think, okay, I really like this person, but they're not exactly like, I'm attracted to them, but they're not exactly what, they should look like this or they should act like this. Maybe just being open and giving it a try rather than set up these limitations that are so strict. Because maybe by setting limitations, I am therefore missing out on getting to know really great people, whether those people become boyfriends, girlfriends, long-term partners, or just friends for the moment, friends for a lifetime. You never know. The possibilities are endless. And being open to possibility and being okay if it doesn't work out. And maybe me being so strict in the past with limiting myself to what kinds of people I want to go on dates with, maybe it's made me miss out on some really great people to just be friends with. So when it comes to being open in the way you live, it's not about lowering your standards, because it's important to still have boundaries. It's important to have some standards, right? Whether it's dating or any other part of our life. But it's about putting your standards out there, living your life with your standards and your boundaries. And then from there, being open to what comes your way. And knowing that perfectionism really, I'm going to quote somebody, perfectionism is a coping mechanism. I was listening to Maggie, the Inspired Coach. Her podcast is really great. And she quoted someone named Peter Crone, whom I'm not very familiar with, who said perfectionism is a coping mechanism. Perfectionism, and I think she paraphrased it and said, perfectionism is a defense mechanism. So when we're being so perfectionist, when we're being so perfectionist, what are we really trying to do? When I am being so strict about how a person should be, look, act when I go on dates with them, what am I really afraid of? What am I shutting down? Or why am I shutting it down? And it could be because I'm afraid of rejecting people. I'm afraid of getting rejected. So I will just cut it now because I know it's not going to work out. Instead of approaching things with an exploratory attitude, curiosity. Okay, I go on 3 dates with this person and it doesn't work out. That's okay. It's okay that it doesn't work out. Why should I be so afraid of it not working out? And then asking myself those questions and going deeper and deeper. Well, maybe I'm afraid of something not working out because I really am desperate to find my next partner. Why am I desperate to find my next partner? Because I feel lonely. Okay, I feel lonely. Are there other ways to not feel lonely other than just finding a partner? And that's where the hard work is. That's where there is room to absolutely live more of an open-minded life, or open life, open to possibilities, and open to different ways of seeing myself, not basing my self-worth or the worth of my time that I'm living on this planet, not basing it on whether or not I have a partner. And it's easier said than done. This is not hard. This is not easy work. It's hard work. And I still struggle, for example, in that example, I still struggle with feeling lonely sometimes because I don't have a partner right now. But I have to remind myself to not base my self-worth, the worth of my time, or the worthiness of the time I'm living on whether or not I'm single. It's important. Perfectionism is a coping mechanism. So being open to the messiness that life has to sometimes throw at us, it's again, easier said than done, but it really lifts a weight off of our shoulders. I have this person that I co-work with, not a very easy person. And sometimes I wonder, like, why is this person in this role? They don't know what they're doing and they're getting paid more than me. And I've gotten frustrated about it and annoyed with it. But then I decided recently, you know what? I need to work with this person to get things done. And I'm going to step up where I feel like I can. And I'm just going to have the best attitude that I can because I'd rather put out good energy with this person than not. And if something crosses a line or if something doesn't meet an expectation, I will share the feedback as necessary. But I need to do this with the intention of my team and myself doing the good work that needs to be done. That should be the main focus. Doing the work that needs to be done. Doing the work that is helping the people we're trying to help at my job. Leading with that, and that dictating my attitude rather than, oh, another date, this person, it's not going to do anything. It's just going to get me more riled up. So why can't I just be open to the possibilities here? Be open to the possibility that maybe this person can prove me wrong today. Maybe this person is feeling really lost in their role. And that's annoying to me. It's annoying, but I got work to do here. There's a bigger purpose to what we're doing, and I'm going to make it work. It's so difficult to do, especially in work situations, right? And I think, again, this doesn't mean putting up with whatever comes your way, not just putting up with it. It's about being open to, like, let's see what this is going to show me. And in the meanwhile, sticking to your boundaries, sticking to your standards, but doing so with love and compassion, doing so knowing that other people are on a journey, giving people that notice or that heads up, like, hey, that crossed the line for me. And I really want to work together with you, but this is where I draw the line. And I'm here to respect you, and I want there to be mutual respect. Are you game? Are you game for approaching it this way? Are you game to do this together and having this boundary together? If they say no, absolutely not, then there's a bigger decision to be made. Otherwise, you're giving them the opportunity to show up. You're giving them the opportunity to improve. You're remaining open to the possibility that that person at your job, in your love life, you're giving them the opportunity to step up, and you're being open to that. Now, if someone keeps doing things to cross the line with you, that just shows that they're maybe not very serious about stepping up. They're not serious about improving themselves. Then you have that bigger decision to make, right? Remaining open, being open in life, isn't only being open to the things you want to happen. It's being open to the things that you may not want to happen because they may be the better thing for you. Whatever sector of life that happens in, love life, work life, family life, being open to whatever may just be the best thing for you. And in readings, when I'm trying to be open, sometimes messages come through that maybe the person doesn't want to hear, but they need to hear. And they'll tell me if they don't want to hear it, I'll tell them that's okay. That's okay. Maybe that person isn't ready right now, and that is fine. Maybe we're not ready to make the hard decision in life, but then we're going to live with the results of not making a different decision. And that's part of learning. And that is okay. I think all paths lead to heaven. We really can't do wrong, but we can only do what doesn't serve us and what serves us. And I do believe that being open in life serves us best. I felt inspired to do this episode because I was on a walk with my doggy and the weather's been so beautiful. I wore short shorts today. And I was just reflecting on places in my life, parts of my life where I've been very close to possibilities and where I can do some more work. And so I wanted to talk about it. And I realized how much this applies to readings with spirit, this attitude, this approach to life. And vice versa, how the approach to readings with spirit, being open to spirit, what spirit can do, also can be applied to just life in general. So I leave you with this episode, hopefully inspiring you to remain open, to live a life open to possibilities, because you deserve it. You deserve to get the answers you seek through being open to what life has to offer you, to what life has to teach you, what situations have to teach you about yourself and how to honor yourself, even if it's a hard decision. So I leave you with this for the week. Have a beautiful rest of your week, a beautiful weekend if you're listening on the weekend. And I send you so many good vibes and blessings. Love you all. Take care. Hey, are you liking the supernatural and self-empowerment talk? Then follow the podcast and please leave a review. If you want me to talk about a specific subject on the podcast or you have a question for the podcast, go to juanfranciscospirit.com and go to my contact page and submit that question.